Live and live.
We can't see them.
Oh, we can't.
Let's switch around.
Let's switch around.
Hi, we can't see you.
Hello,
We're gonna fix
happy
this.
Thirsty Thursday, everyone.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's not gonna work, huh? Let's switch this around here. There's my yellow shopping cart. Gotta get that in the background. Alright. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Am I gonna be in frame there? I think I'll be in frame.
I think you will.
Yeah, there we go. That's perfect.
All right.
Hello. You may have noticed that we have a special guest with us today. This is Stella. Stella is learning tricks. What tricks does she know already?
Well, she just knows sitting down.
She just knows sit sometimes.
Well, when she wants to, if there's food involved.
But I've been trying. Well, Todd has been teaching her to shake, and she's starting to get the hang of it. So we thought she'd come hang out with us today because otherwise she'll scream.
She does. She's trying a lot. Her dad, my son, is on a cruise for the holidays, and she's been staying with me. And apparently, I'm not quite as much as Dad, so she's pretty clingy. Mm-hmm.
So today we are drinking Pinot Noir, but we're talking about our Pinot Noir Shiraz kit. It's a limited edition kit. I really like the limited edition kits because they're just cool.
I love them.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
So they come out with what? It's like 4 or 5 different ones. And we have the little pamphlet from Wine Expert here.
I think it is 5.
And they start in December and then they release one every month. So this is the first one for the 2022 year. They call them limited edition of whatever the previous year is. So
right,
this
that's
year,
the varietals.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's LE21, and the first one that we have releasing in December, which is now available on our website, is the Pinot Noir Shiraz. We can't do sales on these guys, unfortunately. We just have to sell them at the face value price, which is $146.99 for these. But let me just. Oh, actually, that turned my chair.
Mm-hmm.
That was hard. Look at how big this kit is. I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty giant. I needed my yellow shopping cart to bring it over, but pretty cool.
What's the front is so it's a 6 to 8
weeks,
and then you have a 14 liter bladder of juice in there, which is telling me that you're gonna have very little water to juice ratio.
Is 14 standard for the LE? Because I don't think I've seen any bigger than 12.
12, I think, is what we normally will see.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
For that. For the, I'm thinking the private select.
I feel like you're gonna be in there with like a dropper, like adding like your 3 drops of water.
And there you have it.
And there we go.
Yeah. Now, I've made some of these. I have not made all of them. And that, in fact, a couple years ago, that was our goal, is we wanted to always make every LE kit that came in, and I don't know, life got in the way. But the ones we have made,
really
we
good.
have absolutely loved. And we do have a couple, more than a couple, we have a few winemakers that just, they buy every one of them every year. And then they're, of course, always sad when you can't get them again. Because even though we can't put them on sale, they are a limited release. I mean...
Which is why we can't put them on sale, because people would be buying...
You get what you get.
Yeah. So one of the cool things about this series is they basically take you kind of like around the world in the year, right? With wine. So this wine comes to us from Murray-Darling, Australia.
Which, how cute is that name?
It is very cute.
Murray-Darling.
It said that it's named for 2 of Australia's longest rivers, which help with the irrigation of the soil to grow the grapes for this wine.
Yeah, and we've done lives on both Pinot Noir and Shiraz, because we talked about the difference between a Syrah and a Shiraz.
Mm-hmm, which is basically just
region.
One is Australia and one is France? Nah? I could be wrong. I know that Shiraz is Australian.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think
the
I'm right.
Syrah is French.
I'm usually right. Well, that's
I'm going to go with that. You're usually right.
But yeah, so conveniently for you all, Mike actually, they are limited edition, but Mike ordered a lot of these.
But he knew they were going to be amazing.
Right. Mm-hmm. So there's more of an opportunity for our customers than ever.
Yes.
At least to purchase them from us, which is really cool.
And I think I sent 6. No, I might have sent 10. 10 of them over to the store, and they're selling quite well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they're walking out the door. Mm-hmm. But I think you need to understand, like, the limited edition. Oh, she's going to go to sleep on the table. Limited edition is just one of those situations where you're not going to see it again. They often have grapes that have been taken from either boutique wineries or wineries that they aren't going to do a full line on. When you see blends like we're seeing, they really do a good job of investigating, like looking at the history of it, or looking at how does this stand out from the normal line, the regular line of Wine Expert, which is fantastic.
Because they want to make something that's
and needs to be very original.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's what you're going to find. But I also love how they market it, and I love how they support it. Because in this situation, they actually do a recipe that is appropriately paired to each wine as they release it.
Right, which is like so nice, because then you don't have to guess. You're like, oh, this is exactly what to make.
And for us foodies, it lets me know, wow, if I was going to drink this wine, if I was going to make this wine, I was going to have it, and I was going to pair it with a meal, these are the ideas behind it, and then you can kind of branch off because you're going to have an idea of what that taste profile is.
So I thought it was interesting because, I don't know if you know this, but Asia's one of my coworkers. She ordered too many of like her vegan meal kits or whatever, and she gave one to me.
I knew she did.
And she actually gave 2, and I have never made like a meal kit before, so I was interested to see it and experience.
What did you think?
I actually kind of liked it. It was pretty convenient because I know that my little sister has always done meal kits, and I was like, okay, like that's cool, like, and she's always really liked them. But like, I'm just not a person that likes to cook, as we've discussed.
Right.
I think like doing the meal kit actually like made me be like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Just down, Steph.
Sit down, baby.
You want up?
The other day I went into Paula's office, and this dog was just like laying on the desk, just sound asleep.
Yeah, I thought maybe she would do that here because she's going to sleep. But no such luck. No problem.
But yeah, so I think it's kind of cool because this essentially is like a meal kit idea.
Yes.
To pair with the wine, so that it's like it takes the thinking out of it a little bit. For the opposite,
but I also think it's a good way to stretch.
Right. Well, but that's the perspective. Yeah. Like you're like, oh, okay, here's the basis and blah blah blah, and you have all these ideas, and I'm like, okay, I have no ideas. This is what I'm doing. So it's like good for both ends of the spectrum.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Now, do you like mushrooms?
I love mushrooms.
I do too. We agree on that completely.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've ever met a mushroom I don't love.
There's a lot of people, like mushrooms are one of those things, you either love them or you don't. Like I haven't found a lot of people in the middle.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, I can take them or leave them.
Stuffed mushrooms are like some of my favorite, with like sausage and like breadcrumbs, and you like, so good.
I love. So this they are pairing, and I got super into it.
She did.
So here's the other part of this is if you go to
someone's saying hi.
Hello. If you go to wineexpert.com, I mean, it's not us. They're not trying to sell it. You don't have to have a password or anything like that. But if you go to wineexpert.com and you start looking up the LE kits, LE21, all of these recipes are available to you for free. They're downloadable. I printed them. I printed it in color because I'm a visual person. But this is something that you could save over time and know, okay, I've enjoyed this. I'm going to serve a Pinot Noir. Let me do a no-brainer.
Right.
But I also, one thing I love, and I don't know how, I of course studied this, but they have little tips and little side dish things you can do as well. So this is a pork tenderloin with forest mushroom sauce. It sounds fantastic to me. Pork tenderloin to me is okay. I don't do a lot of pork. In fact, I hardly ever do
That's
pork.
another thing we agree on. Dang, look at us today.
But what I love is down here at the bottom, the tip is replace the pork tenderloin with 4 small chicken breasts.
Okay.
And then it tells you to adjust the simmer time and that kind of thing. So I was like, I'm reading it and I'm like, I know it would taste good. I'm just not a big pork person.
Right.
Now, my boys growing up love pork tenderloin. I made it 1,000 different ways and marinated it 1,000 different ways, and it was great. But just as an adult now with the empty nest, I can eat what I want because I'm a grown up.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can switch that from pork to chicken.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool. I'm gonna throw him under the bus just because it's kind of fun. Mike, the owner of the company, is on vacation right now.
Yes.
With Nick on the cruise. One time, so he claims to be a vegetarian.
Or a pescatarian, depends
like
on the
what?
day.
Yeah. So I remember going out to dinner with him one time, and it just reminded me because you said that you could substitute chicken for pork. He tells me that he's being a vegetarian or whatever, which like I'm all for. Like I understand people like are really like have a variety of like rigidities with that, right? But it's just kind of funny because he tells me, yeah, I've just been a vegetarian. And then the waitress comes up and is like, what would you like to order? And he's like, I'll have the scallops and chicken, but with fish. And I was like, but that's not vegetarian.
That's pescatarian.
Right. But it was just, the contrast was just really, really funny because he's like, yeah, I'm a vegetarian. Also, I'll have the fish. Like, kind of made me laugh. I was like telling the story to Jed, and he was like, I actually didn't notice it until I was telling the story to Jed, and Jed's like, wait, hold up.
That's an animal. Yeah. So, also, just not to beat this to death, but I'm telling you, I love the fact that you compare this, and
She loves food.
I do love food. I love food. I love cooking. But this involves like a mushroom broth. Okay. It has dried porcini mushrooms, which I've never cooked with dried mushrooms. So I looked it up and I did all this kind of stuff. And what they're doing is they're rehydrating this dried mushroom in the mushroom broth. So the flavor's got to be just absolutely incredible. Then you've got butter and olive oil, which is a staple. You can't cook without butter and olive oil. I double dog dare you to be able to cook without butter and olive oil. And then sliced mushrooms. So now you've got 2 kinds of mushrooms. Fresh thyme, of course, 2 large cloves of garlic minced, and the more garlic, the better.
Dude, I love garlic.
Yes.
I love garlic so much to the point where, like, I was like, I wonder if this would be good if I just, like,
no.
It's not good like that.
But what I will tell you, one thing you need to try is take a whole head of garlic and don't do anything to it. Don't even peel it. Don't anything. Wrap it in, sister's going to sleep. Wrap it in tinfoil. And bake it in your oven.
Ooh, yeah, like roasted garlic.
Yes, and then when you can squeeze it out, and now you've got this garlic spread that you can put on anything. You put on steaks. You can put it on bread. You can put it on anything. That's the answer.
Easy. Yeah, that sounds super good.
All right, then we've got the pork tenderloin, salt and pepper, and we've got flour, Dijon mustard, and Dijon mustard is something I've been playing around with a lot more in my cooking. Do you like mustard?
Yeah, I like mustard.
And I love the spices of mustard. And I'm not talking about like that yellow mustard. No, I grew up on putting.
No,
on
it's
my
like
hot
the
dog.
one with the brown.
Yes,
in it. Like,
yes, like the coarse ground mustard. And so I have had a number of recipes with chicken that have you use that in the glaze, and my balsamic vinaigrette that I make at home has mustard in it. So I'm like, okay, I'm with you on this mustard thing. And then you actually use the wine in your cooking as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're using a 1/4 cup of this wine or wine that's very
So
similar.
of course
to
it would match.
Exactly. So I think the whole idea is you've got that earthiness of the mushroom, you've got the thyme, the garlic, and so you're bringing that all together. And what you do is you slice this tenderloin and you dredge it in your flour. And then after you've done all your sauteing of your garlic and all of this stuff that they're having you do and rehydrate your mushrooms, everything is ended up in the same pan. And if you cook a lot, you know that as soon as you've got those droppings from whatever meat you're making,
Yeah.
the flavor is out of this world. And that's how you end up also getting the, almost like a gravy. I don't mean, I should say sauce, because the gravy is probably making it too simple.
Right.
But it thickens it.
That's so funny because out of sheer laziness, that's what I do a lot of the times. It's like, I just want to use one pan. I just like use
Well, and I love when it's one pan.
But that's so, yeah. And then you don't have to cook or use so many dishes.
True, but I think you get so much more flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they say you can do...
It sounds good.
Well, it's only a 45-minute
total time.
And that's with 35 minutes of cooking and 10 with prep. Because there's not a lot of slicing
and it makes
dicing.
enough for 4 people, so you could have a couple people over for dinner if you're a couple.
And then you say serve it with mashed potatoes, or cooked noodles, or polenta.
What's polenta?
Polenta is a...
Isn't it corn?
It is. It's a corn base. It's a real coarse ground corn based Italian dish.
Is it kind of like quinoa or like that type of a... Is it? No.
I've never had it like that.
Okay.
So I've had it more where it's almost like a porridge, maybe.
Okay.
And so the reason for that is when you see that in a restaurant or on a recipe, it's because the sauce for what you're making is so incredibly delicious that allows for the base for whatever you're stacking on top of it. So it's kind of just
stuff.
like mashed potatoes would be.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But it's a gluten-free alternative.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I have a few friends that are gluten-free, so maybe I'll have to introduce
And gluten-free is
them
never a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. But I do think that this is an absolutely fantastic choice. And if you're going to buy it, you got to buy it soon so it's not gone. But you figure with an 8-week fermentation, that's going to take you, through February.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need a 6-month maturation at least. You're going to be drinking this next Christmas.
Right. And I think it'd be cool to actually get one of all the kits, and then you would have, it'd be a lot of work in the beginning to do them all, but then you could reap the reward boom boom.
Because you're getting 30 bottles.
Right. Yeah. And let's just go briefly through all the
and
ones
I'm hoping
that
that we take the time each time one's released.
Heck yeah.
To talk to you guys about it, because it's worth talking about.
So on the Pinot Noir Shiraz, dry, medium oak, medium bodied, 13.5%. It said that these two might seem like an odd couple, but it's making a resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
The berry, floral, and soft spice aromas open to a vibrant palette of sour cherry and red fruit flavors, with undertones of dark plum, blueberry, light licorice, and spice. And silky tannins and bright acidity complete this juicy and energetic blend. That is the description. And then moving on, I'll just tease.
Okay.
Because I actually think the next one. Well, okay, I have a couple of favorites. I'm a white wine person.
Mm-hmm. I like all wine.
So Macabio, is that how you say that?
I've never had it.
Sure. Okay. Macabio Sauvignon Blanc from Manchuria, Spain.
Which how I feel about
you like Spanish
varietals.
So that's the one that's coming up in January. Then Marcelin, have you had
I don't think I've had that.
Dang, they're stumping Paula hard.
But that's what I mean. When they choose these, it's out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a great idea to do.
So we've got, that one's from France.
Mm-hmm.
That's a red wine. Trebbiano Riesling, that's in March. And then the last one is going to be a Grenache Carignan with grape skins in April.
Ooh, that's the only one
Have
with
they ever,
grape skins.
do they normally do one with grape skins?
I think they mix it up. They do what they want to do.
They do whatever they
They're
want to
grown-ups
do.
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, lots to look forward to.
See, now that one has a heavy oaking.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is the one with the Riesling is off dry, which is pretty sweet for a limited edition kit.
Yeah, I feel like that's really rare, actually.
Yeah, that's exciting. And when is that?
March. That's probably going to be my favorite one. I have a feeling.
Well, and they're pairing that with
shrimp.
Shrimp. I love shrimp.
Oh, now I'm just hungry. I'm glad that it's lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
Merry Christmas and Happy
This
Holidays.
is Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve. So have a nice, safe, happy holiday with your family or whoever you're celebrating it with. Are you doing a lot of cooking or?
No, actually. Well, yes and no. So
This is just the cooking episode.
it is. This is what we do. No, tomorrow night we're going out to my mom to spend the night, having my couple of our kids over. My sister's coming in from out of town with her boyfriend, and we are going to make big old taco rice bowls and do like a whole taco bar with a rice bowl thing and guacamole. And I have a recipe for a Christmas punch.
So I asked you if you were cooking.
And I'm like, no. And so we're doing that. And
Weird.
Then for Tom and
I know. I'm just messing.
And then for Christmas Day, my mom will do all the business, and all I have to do is make the green bean casserole.
Nice. Green bean casserole, also another thing, but it has mushrooms in it. That's probably why.
It does.
We are probably going to do. So we're going camping for Christmas.
Where?
Tennessee.
Okay.
So we're gonna go camping, climb, and hang out.
Gonna do what you like to do.
Yep. Because all of our family is far away.
You are spread out.
Yeah, which is a little sad. We'll probably I usually FaceTime. It's a bit sad. I have 4 younger siblings, and my 2 youngest sisters every year always ask, like, "Are you coming home?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're not adults. You don't understand. I can't."
It's hard.
But yeah, we're gonna go do that. So my delicacy of choice is you take like naan bread, sun-dried tomatoes, tomato sauce, and cheese, and like the good mozzarella, like fresh mozzarella. You put it in a Ziploc bag, and then when you get to camp, and it's like the type of thing you have to eat that night, because unless you bring like a cooler or something, you boil a pot of water on your little camp stove, and you stick that in there, and it like heats it all up, and then you eat it with a spoon. It's pizza in a bag.
You put all the pieces in there?
It's literally so good. Well, we usually leave the naan out, so it
you
doesn't
use it to
get...
dip?
Yeah, well, yeah, and like, the first time I had it, I just like crumbled it up in there, but then like, yeah, the subsequent times I sometimes like dip it, but...
Because I do that with my hummus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Especially sun-dried tomatoes. Ooh,
are we making you guys hungry? Because normally we're just drinking in front of you, but now we're just talking about food.
Well, hey, Christmas is coming up.
It is.
They'll get to the food soon enough. Is she asleep?
She's sound asleep.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
She's so precious.
Yeah, this is my life right now. It's okay. It's all good.
Well, cheers to everyone out there. We are going to be doing one more live next week before the new year. And that'll be the last one of 2021.
Yes, it will.
And if you have any ideas, as always, of what you want to hear us ramble about, we'd love to hear. But cheers, happy Thirsty Thursday, and we will see you later.
I hope you guys are safe and have great holidays.